Good morning, students. I hope all of you are fine and taking good care of yourselves. Students, today we are going to read chapter 7, Fair Play. But before starting this chapter, I want to ask some questions from you. Has your best friend ever done something what you thought was wrong? What did you do then? Did you keep quiet or did you tell your friend what you thought? So students, here we are going to read a story about two friends who share a strong bond of friendship. But their friendship is put to test when they have to decide what is more important, friendship and enmity or the sense of right and wrong. Will their friendship pass the test or not? Let's find out by reading the story. So, Chumman Sheikh and Algu Chaudhary were the best of friends. So strong was their bond of friendship that when they either of them went away from the village, the other looked after his family, and both were greatly respected in the village. Now, Juman had an old aunt who had some property. Now see what the aunt is saying. I'll transfer my property to you, Juman, if you only promise to look after me. The arrangement worked well for a couple of years. Then the situation changed. Juman and his family were tired of the old relative. Juman became as indifferent to her as his wife, who grudged even the little food that the old lady wanted every day. Now students, as I have already told you, Juman Sheikh and Algu Chaudhary were the best friends, and there was one lady who was the aunt of Juman Sheikh, and he transferred her property to Juman Sheikh on the promise that Juman Sheikh will take care of her. But students, now this arrangement worked well for a couple of years, but after some years the situation changed. Now Juman Sheikh and his wife don't want to keep their aunt in their house. Now they start disliking the aunt. Now let's further read the story. One day, my son, it is now obvious that I am not wanted in your house. Kindly give me a monthly allowance so that I can set up a separate kitchen. Now see what the Juman is saying. My wife knows best how to run the house. Be patient. This made his aunt very angry and she decided to keep her case to the village panchayat. Now students, now the lady herself is realizing that now no longer the Juman Sheikh and his wife wanted her in their house. So finally she told this thing to Juman Sheikh. Okay, and now she has decided that she will go to the panchayat so that she can get her house back from the Juman Sheikh. So, for this, now the old lady was seen talking to the villagers, explaining her case and seeking the support from the villagers. So, when she started talking with the villagers, what happened that some villagers they laughed at her, some other villagers advised her to make it up with her nephew and his wife, and some villagers sympathized her. So there was different opinion among the villagers also. Now, at last she came to Algu Chaudhary and spoke to him. What did the aunt say? Come to the panchayat and speak the truth. But is it right, my son, to keep mum and not say what you consider just in fear? Now, what the Algu is saying, you know, Chachi, Jumman is my best friend. How can I go against him? Now, students, I have already told you that Algu and Jumman Sheikh were very best friends. Okay, so, but this lady, this aunt of Jumman Sheikh, want Algu to be the head of the panchayat. But in return, Algu is saying that how come I can decide this case? You know very well that I am best friend of Jumman. So how can I decide this case? But in return, this lady is saying that my son, you know very well that you have to speak the truth. And if you are head of the panchayat, you should speak the truth. Okay? The friendship should not come in your way. Now, in the evening, the panchayat was held under an old banyan tree. So, what? Now, students, take care of the dialogues being said by different people. Okay, so see, first of all, first dialogue was said by Chuman Sheikh. He is saying, the voice of the punch is the voice of the court. Let my aunt nominate the head punch. I will abide by her decision. Then one villager is saying to aunt that, Chachi, you are aware of my friendship with Juman. Then the next one is saying the punch knows neither friend nor enemy. What do you say to Algu Chaudhary? Now students, finally what happened is Algu Chaudhary was nominated as the punch and now the judgment was in his hands. So let's find out what judgment he gave. Okay. Juman, you and I are old friends. Your aunt is as dear to me as you. Now I am a punch. You and your aunt are equal before me. What you have to say in your defense? Now students, see what the Algu is saying. Now as he is the punch, he is keeping aside his friendship. He is saying to Jumman that Jumman, you know that we are very old friends, but as now I am punch, I can't decide in your favor only. Clear? I have to give a fair judgment. So if you want to say something in your defense, you can. Now what the Jumman is saying? That he is keeping his side. Okay. He said that my aunt transferred her property to me. I promised to support her as long as she lived. I have done all I could. There have been a couple of quarrels between my wife and her, but I can't stop it. Now my aunt is claiming a monthly allowance from me. This is not possible. That's all I have to say. So when Jumman said these lines, finally Algu and the other members cross-examined the case. Clear? And what was the judgment given by Algu? He told Jumman that you must pay your aunt a monthly allowance. Okay? And if you don't want to pay this allowance, just give the property back to her. Now students, when Algu gave this judgment, then these two friends were rarely seen together. The bond of friendship between them was broken. Okay, why it was broken? Because Algu go against Chuman. Now many days passed, Algu Chaudhary found himself in a tight spot, means in a difficult situation. What happened to Algu was that one of his bullocks died and he sold the other bullock to Samju Sahu. Okay, Samju Sahu was a cart driver of the village. So Algu sold his second bullock to the Samju Sahu, and what was the understanding between them, that Sahu would pay the price of the bullock after 1 month. But students, unfortunately, that bullock died within a month only. Now, after several months, when Algu went to Sahu for the payment, then Sahu replied that your bullock died within 1 month only. So, I'll not give you any payment. Okay. So, these were the wordings of Sahu. So, finally, Algu decided to take his case to the panchayat. Now, for the second time in the few months, preparations for holding the panchayat were made, and both parties started meeting people seeking their support, as it was earlier done by aunt also. Now, finally, the panchayat was held under the same old banyan tree, and the same wordings are again repeated, but this time the wordings were repeated by Algu, not Chumman. Now the Algu is saying the voice of the punch is the voice of the goat. Let Sahu nominate head punch. I will abide by his decision. Now students, finally Sahu nominated Jumman Sheikh as the punch of the panchayat. Now this is the twist that came. Okay, earlier Algu was the punch and the judgment was given by Algu. But now Jumman Sheikh is the punch, and now Jumman Sheikh is going to give the judgment. Clear? Now by seeing this, Sahu was very disappointed. He had in his mind that Jumman will definitely give judgment in favor of Sahu and not me. Because earlier I have annoyed Jumman by giving a judgment against him. So now the key is in the hands of Jumman, and he will do say the same thing with me also. Okay. Now both Algu and Sahu started their cases. They were cross-examined and the case was considered deeply. It is our opinion that Sahu should pay Algu the price of the bullock. When Sahu bought the bullock, it suffered from no disability of disease. The death of the bullock was unfortunate, but Algu cannot be blamed for it. Now students, see what Juman is saying. He is saying he gave the judgment in favor of Algu only, because in reality Algu was right at his place. Clear? He told Sahu that you should pay Algu the price of the bullock, because when you bought the bullock, it suffered from no disability and no disease. So you should pay the price of the bullock to Algu. So finally, since the last panchayat, Jumman became enemy of Algu, but today he realized that when it means to be a punch, then there is no friend, no enemy. He knows only justice. And let no one deviate from the path of justice and truth for friendship or enmity. Students, enmity means the feeling of hate, or you can say strong dislike for someone. Clear? So, Algu embraced his friend and wept, and his tears washed away all the dirt of misunderstanding between them. So, this was all about the story. So, students, you should know that. So, what you analyze in this? That when you are a judge, you have no relations. Okay? For example, when sometimes you are made the monitor of a class. So what some children usually do is that they don't write the names of their friends on the blackboard. Okay? Whether if they are talking or not. They never do. But students, you should realize your responsibility. Okay? If you are given some duty, you should do it properly. Clear? So students, this was all about the story. Just read the story once and if you have any query, just ask that. Okay, post your query in the group. I'll answer it. Thank you.